Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council members. Thank you for your time this evening. Tom Grundon, Staff Liaison to the Paradise Path Task Force. And before Margaret gets started, I'd just like to say that the membership of the Paradise Path Task Force over the last 12 to 14 months has been on a very serious mission to become a commission. And I also want to just mention the past work of the Paradise Task Force over its 20 years of existence, that all of the different volunteers and members of the community have supported the Paradise Path Task Force in its mission. And just wanted to say thanks to all those that also helped to add to the mission. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Margaret Littlejohn, our current chair of the task force, to present the request to become a commission.
Thank you, Tom. Mayor Lambert and City Council, I'm happy to be back to talk to you about becoming a commission, changing us from a task force. And you tasked us about a year and a half ago with doing quarterly reports to show what we had been working on and to show that we were getting quorums at our meetings. And that's partly what I'm here tonight to show you. We hope that tonight you will approve us becoming a commission, and we've chosen the name Moscow Pathways Commission with 7 members who will serve 3-year terms, which is similar to most of the other commissions. And we, since September of 2013, have had quorums at all of the meetings you see listed there, except for one which we did not hold a meeting because there were too many people out of town. So we're proud of that record. And we also wanted just to briefly talk about some of the accomplishments of each of the quarters that we reported to you on earlier. So we've been working on a variety of tasks and projects. We made comments on the Mountain View proposed improvements at 6th Street. We served on the iCount 2013 and the Walk to School Day. We encouraged the city to stripe the edges of Paradise Path for better night safety, which you see in the photo there. We also, in the second quarter, revised our mission statement and got it approved by the Parks and Rec Commission, which we later brought to you for approval. We encouraged the city to replace all the solar batteries in the 34 bollards along Paradise Path, which helps light it for night use or dark time use. We exhibited at the Commission Fair in 2013, and we elected officers for the 2014 calendar year. We approved goals for 2014, which we'll talk about in a minute. We approved the City Council approved the new mission statement, which was to promote and advise on the development of a path system in and around Moscow, embracing 3 important community concerns: active transportation, recreation, and resource conservation and enhancement. We also joined the Idaho Walk Bike Alliance to help promote active transportation as healthy, safe, and reliable for all Idahoans. We attended the Latah Trail Foundation. Since we coordinate with them, our trails adjoin each other. We participated in 3 farmers markets, and we participated in Safe Routes to School events this spring. Our fourth quarter, we manned farmers market booth on 3 Saturdays, which you see the dates there. We added a new member to our group. We prepared and staffed an exhibit at Palouse Fest in August 2014, and we encouraged the city to sign orphan paths approved by the City Council. which there were 3 segments that we asked for approval for. And we submitted 2 questions for the City of Moscow Citizen Survey. So our goals are continuing, and we have many. We are going to improve the butterfly garden at Vernon Creekside Park, which is right along Paradise Path. And we have a couple of work days scheduled for April 25th and June 6th. We hope to host more work days with members of the commission, we hope, commission, and the public. And we want to continue soliciting funding for the Blackbird Station, which is across from East Side Marketplace. We did work with Tracy May's University of Idaho class to do that for the past semester. We also are promoting path tour rides for membership and interested parties, so we're trying to encourage people to use Paradise Path, hold events on it, and that will make the public more aware of what Paradise Path is, because there is still a lot of confusion about what is Paradise Path, where's the Latah Trail, where's Chipman Trail, how do they connect with each other. And we have some signs ready to go up on the orphan paths that say pedestrian pathway, which you see there. So why are we wanting to become a commission? Because we feel there's much work to be done on city pathways to connect both the pieces that we have, and we do have a pathway that goes all the way through town, but there are segments that are right now disconnected from that path. So we feel there are many paths that need to be connected around town to better provide for pedestrians and bikers and walkers. Including one of our highest priorities is the underpass at Steiner and White and the Troy Highway. And unlike the editorial in today's Daily News, we strongly support that underpass because of safety issues especially. And that was not even mentioned in the editorial. So we are totally in rejection of that editorial, and we hope that you will support the underpass. We're continuing to work to make the public more aware of the pathways, as I mentioned. And as the city grows, we feel that these pathways should be an integral part of city planning before that planning is actually done. And we are going to collaborate with the Transportation Commission, Safe Routes to School, and other commissions as appropriate to make that happen. And in the future, we hope to have a circular route around the city with green spaces along it that will actually be a marketing tool for Moscow to encourage people to settle here. And we know from other communities across the country that pathways can be a very important part of marketing a community. So that's just a visual of the circular route that we'd like to see around the city in the future. So that's one of the goals that we're working toward. Any questions?
Thank you, Margaret, for the great presentation. Questions from the council for Margaret / Tom?
No questions, but more commentary that, of course, I'm fully in support of the transition into commission status, but also kind of the reasons behind it in that the current commissions don't necessarily support the area in which the Pathways Commission would be operating. Transportation has a different view of things. Parks and Rec takes another different view, and this falls into a hole that needs to be addressed by way of providing good continuity of all the paths in Moscow for both pedestrians and bicyclists, the non-motorized people who would like to get around town more easily and safely. And it also supports very much the underlying safe routes to school for children and separating bicycle and pedestrians from motorized traffic to the extent possible. And I think having an advocate commission in support of that aspiration is a really good thing to have.
Bill?
John?
Comment only. You people have done a great job of taking the requests from the city council as to having regular meetings and having a quorum at your meetings, defining your goals, and have got short and long-term goals. And at the beginning of this process, I was not at all sure that I could support turning you into a regular commission. But after what you've done in the last year and a half and what you plan on proceeding to do, you've got my vote.
Thank you.
Wayne?
I'll just expand a little bit on what John said. Margaret, as you know, a little over a year ago, I was not a friend of the Paradise Path Task Force because I thought that your mission was completed. It had a particular reason, and it was done. You had put together a mission statement that I didn't agree with, and I wasn't the only one. You couldn't put a quorum together. You didn't really, your group did not show an interest in really doing what a commission needs to do. And boy, did you guys turn that around. You created a new mission statement, you okayed it, you got it through the Parks and Rec Department. You have had, I suspect you have had a better turnout of quorum at your meetings than just about maybe any other commission has had over the last year and a half. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Well, I'd go forth and move approval of the request from the Paradise Path Task Force to be designated as a city commission, to be known as the Moscow Pathways Commission, and to adopt the attached ordinance under suspension of the rules requiring 3 complete and separate readings, and that the ordinance be read by title and published by summary.
Second that motion.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve the Paradise Path Task Force to be designated as a city commission to be known as the Moscow's Pathway Commission, and adopt the attached ordinance under the suspension of the rules requiring 3 complete and separate readings, and that the ordinance be read by title and published by summary. It was, motion was made by Art, the second was by Jim Boland. Walter.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do intend to vote for this, and was one of those that insisted that they prove that they really deserve to be a commission. I think you've done that. What this does is takes you out of the mother may I mode with other existing commissions and organizations. The only one you have to report to is the city council, but it makes you a full partner with transportation, with Parks and Rec, with planning and zoning, to have your voice heard. I think you've been at this long enough, Margaret, to know that having your voice heard is really, really good. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to go along every time, but we will listen. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I'm looking forward to the vote.
Okay. John?
I'm ready to vote.
Okay, I'll start the roll with Walter.
An enthusiastic aye.
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 Okay, we have got a new mission, a new commission called Moscow Pathways Commission. I will read the ordinance, and this is 2015-03. Okay, ordinance number 2015-03, an ordinance of the City of Moscow, Idaho, a municipal corporation of the state of Idaho, providing for the addition of Moscow Pathways Commission as Moscow City Code Title III, Chapter 14, providing that the provisions of this ordinance be deemed severable, and providing for this ordinance to be in full force and effect from the date of its passage, approval, and publication according to law. Congratulations, Margaret, to you and your team. Your commission has done a wonderful job, so welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tom.